Well, let's look at what's topical front back pages of the newspapers. Then we look at myjoyonline.com and the rest of the online portals we have around. And Mama V is all looking good. Sweet Chica, how are you? Chica?
I'm good.
You look good.
Yeah,
okay.
I think I could do in one more, like 1 hour more sleep.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we think every day?
Ideally, yes.
That's what we think
every day. So you get
day.
Saturdays too. But the thing is that Saturday you wake up early, your regular time sometimes.
Yeah,
so.
you do everything. Saturdays we're washing, we're going to the market, we're cooking for the week. You know, yeah.
Charlie, sometimes,
Charlie, God bless the woman.
You know, there's a French movie. In which a man woke up and then he had changed places with a woman.
Oh my God!
And so went to work and faced all the discriminations that women faced. And then I think he turned around and thought, this is what we need to do to make sure.
I think every man,
yes.
But we know that men also have their own hustle. Yeah,
well, we have our own hustle.
I don't want to be a man. I want to be a woman.
Well, you were created this way, so that's good. You look good this way too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's do the newspapers right now, and we start off with the Daily Graphic newspaper. On the front page of the paper this morning, 3 policemen interdicted for selling AK-47 rifle to civilian. Remember the story from yesterday? Well, that's where we are with it. We'll bring you a bit of the details. It's on page 16 in the paper. Also, lawyer accomplice caged 12 years for land fraud. And then decision irreversible. Bank of Ghana stands by recapitalization deadline. On the front page, you find a picture of Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana. She's a second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Mrs. Elsie Awaji. That story is on page 3. It would break a lot of hearts, especially those who are trying, to go places and try to get somebody to interfere, things like that. Does it mean this is it? Well, it says in spite of concerns raised by some banks on the directive by the Bank of Ghana to them to raise the minimum paid up capital to 400 million Ghana cedis by December this year, the central bank says its decision still stands and therefore it expects all banks to meet the requirements by the deadline. At a breakfast meeting for chief executive officers and other senior management members of banks in Accra yesterday, the second deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana, Elsie Awaji, said although the central bank was aware of a petition by some indigenous banks for the central bank to extend the recapitalization date to 2023, quotes, the Bank of Ghana directive still stands and we expect all banks to meet the requirements by December 2018 on quotes. And it comes to give you the background of that committee that's been set up by the presidents with key stakeholders to explore ways in which indigenous banks can be supported. The Bank of Ghana says they are aware of this, but that has nothing to do with the directive that they issued. Okay, on page 16 now, still in the Daily Graphic newspaper, that's where we're headed to look at circumstances leading to the interdiction of some police officers. That story first broke yesterday. Unbelievable. One of those stories that you see that ideally you would say fake news, but these days nothing is fake on the surface of it. You've got to go into the details first. Story by Mary Mensah in Accra says the Inspector General of Police, David Asante Apietu, has ordered the immediate interdiction of the 3 policemen who allegedly sold an AK-47 assault rifle to a civilian at Weja near Accra. The 3, their names have been given, and a release signed by the Director General in charge of Public Affairs, Assistant Commissioner of Police, David Eklu, and issued in Accra yesterday, said the 3 policemen and the civilian identified as Ibrahim Tete, who allegedly bought the rifle, were currently in police custody, assisting in investigations, and the policemen and the civilian will be processed for court without delay, and that the AK-47 assault rifle had also been retrieved. There's a meanwhile here, according to a source at the Anti-Armed Robbery Squad of the Criminal Investigations Departments of the Ghana Police Service, the 3 policemen were on guard duties at Kokorobite and Wager when they were arrested. All right, what we want is to get to the bottom of it, but I hope that the police will not end there, because if one person is doing it, then you can speculate that, I'm not sure I can put a figure to it, but somebody certainly still in the force could be doing it. I don't know how they can fish all these people out, but not good.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, let black market do it, and you go and raid the market and get rid of these people, but
not having the central authorities themselves having their personnel do it. I think that's right.
Yeah.
But that also fuels the commentary about how we have arms in the arms of private people, when we know these arms specifically are imported not only into Ghana but into the sub-region by security services.
Yeah,
because some of the things, we're not like the US or elsewhere in Europe or somewhere where they have what they call hardware stores. And the hardware stores basically mean that you can just go, you find a gun in the US, you can buy. But here you find none. Maybe if you go to Egypt, you and the rest of Northern
But
Africa.
if you want to own a gun, there are processes that you go through, and you can legitimately own a gun. But we don't expect our police officers to be renting the rifles that they've been given, to work with, either to rent or to sell. I mean, don't expect a police officer to do that.
And I think it's as bad. It's whoever does that should know
it's not a true policeman.
Yeah, you should know that the hand of the person going to wield that gun could do something negative to an innocent person. And you should think about it.
I mean, it's the same as
your personal
a person who wears a certain uniform and call him or herself a police officer, yet you beat people. Like, who does that? A policeman in uniform.
True.
You have a gun and you beat people. Shame on you. Okay, still on page 16, there's one more story of interest on page 16. A lawyer, Dominic Owusu-Sechere, and another person have been sentenced to a total of 12 years imprisonment by an Accra Circuit Court for defrauding a businessman of $200,000 in a land transaction. So the lawyer will serve 7 years in prison, while the other convict, Samuel Yeboah, who also goes by the name Albert Kwejo Coleman, will serve 5 years. The court established that the two men teamed up with two others who are now at large to defraud the businessman under the guise of selling to him a plot of land at Cantonment in Accra. And it tells you who presided over the court, Miss Malikeawo Wanya Day, and she found Sechere and Yeboah guilty of conspiracy to commit fraud and defrauding by false pretense. There's a lot of background to the stories on page 16. Story by Emmanuel Ebohoxin in Accra that you can read about the investigations, the sale for land or land for sale, the lawyer's role, particularly in this case. It's not often that you see a lawyer who's been sentenced along with possibly his clients to a prison or a jail term. So details of that in the Daily Graphic newspaper. There are other stories in the center spread. I like to go to the center spread to see what's happening there. New guidelines for placement of candidates into senior high schools out. And you can check the story out. We have a similar conversation, God willing, on Friday here on our show to help both parents and students who are beginning to select schools. Now some of the schools have been upgraded, so you have to understand all of the dimensions to this year's selection process. On the back page of the Daily Graphic, police prevent clash between two factions in Bolga chieftaincy dispute. New tunnel at East Legon opened to traffic. And yesterday, Maxwell Agbaba was there for us. This morning, we've got Komla Adom doing two of the tunnels for us this morning. So we still want to stay with this new tunnel that's been opened and gauge traffic, monitor the situation for a while and see how that goes. So that's it for the Daily Graphic newspaper, Roland?
Yeah, definitely. So let's now look at the Daily Guide newspaper. It has on the front page, Opuni assets frozen again. And that story is on page 3 of the paper. It says less than 24 hours after an Accra High Court ordered the Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO, to lift the ban on the bank account of the former Kokoba CEO being frozen. The anti-graft body has once again frozen them, and Dr. Puni has been arraigned before court for causing financial loss to states. And they give you the background on and on and on and on. Okay, so we also have CID grills 4 more ex-ministers, and it says the criminal investigation department of the CID has interrogated 4 more ministers in the John Mahama government. The former ministers were or are or have been caught in the ongoing double salary scam. 3 of them, including Neil and Van der Poel, former Minister of US, who doubles as blah, blah, blah. And then we have NDC MP for Ododio. Okay, that's been said. Alassane Azong, former Minister of State in charge of public sector reforms, and former PNT MP for Bolsa South were grilled by the CID. As at press time, another minister believed to be Alesegbefia, former Minister of Health, whose name was not readily available, was being interrogated by the police. It is not clear if Mr. Segbefia was representing a client, since he was not an MP, so could not have. So why do you put this? Anyway, so we have all that there. 3 cops grabbed for robbery. Parents of Kotobabi tragedy victims, they break silence. And we're told that there were twins inside. Okay, let's go to the center spread. We have a News 1 pull out. I only take Guinness. I don't take alcohol. And this one has been attributed to Patapa. And apparently, he was speaking on the Delay show.
He takes what?
He says he was asked whether he takes alcohol. He says, I don't take alcohol. I only drink what you drink. That's Guinness.
And what?
I said, I don't know anything called we.
So
in school,
Guinness is
what I was
non-alcoholic.
taught was we was we, meaning was W-E, meaning all of us. I don't know what is we, he said.
Okay, yeah, he's just being smart.
I'm told that he's released another song called Kum Chacha. Do you know about it?
Yes, I've listened to it.
Is it also nice?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of them sounds that you can dance to, but I don't know. It's not one that I'll particularly play in my private moments. Okay. I will not. Yeah. But I will listen to it if it's being played on the radio.
All right.
Yeah.
Because you have no option. That's if you're tuned to the channel.
Oh well, I mean, I have an option to change the dial.
Yeah, true.
But I will listen to, like, I listened to it for the first time on radio.
Okay.
And like you laugh, like it makes you. But I don't think if you laugh beyond the first time that you listen to it, and that's why I won't play it again. But he's got his own fan base, and they love his music. He has. So yeah.
Echo Blankson hot over insulting actors, and yesterday he was apologizing on there, saying that his comment in an interview was taken out of context. We're told that he had an interview with a TV station called SVTV Africa.
What, they twisted his words or what?
Well, Queen's Arena hit season 3, and then we have actress Alison Mark charged over sex trafficking. So those are basically the stories we have. The Daily Guide. Now let's do the Ghanaian Times. The Ghanaian Times has on the front page of the paper. CID submits Koku Anyidoho's docket to AG's department.
Hey, so it's not dead.
No. Lawyer another jailed for 12 years for fraud. They conspired to swindle businessman of some 200. Is that what the story?
Yeah, that's the story in the Daily Graphic.
I didn't know lawyers.
Yeah, what's a land deal?
Yeah.
You can't say lawyers like all lawyers.
Yeah. I thought maybe they were big people.
There are criminals everywhere, Roland. There are criminals everywhere.
Well, I thought who's a lawyer there?
Everywhere. There are criminals
you can't jail him.
Who said that?
A big man.
Who said that? Our laws. Nobody's bigger than our laws in Ghana.
Well, true.
Let it find you, and you see where power lies.
Yeah, true. All right. Bulgar police avert bloody clash between 2 youth groups, and Ghana to conduct agricultural census from April to July. And we're already in April. Today is April 25, I believe. Back page, Ghana to conduct or is there, and the 8th annual pre-harvest agribusiness conference is to be held or convened in Tamale, and that's on the back page of the Ghanaian Times. Maybe basically that's it. Lots of stories in the papers, but I don't know. Sorry, it's not a light. Okay. All right.
Let's do the final newspaper. There are some statistics, being played out here Front page of the Finder, increase in presidential office staff positions, and the Finder is putting a percentage increment of the numbers, and that's the breakdown that they have in the paper today. So on page 4, you see the details of that. Data on the annual report to Parliament on presidential office staff positions to increase in numbers between 4 and 33% in the Fourth Republic. So 2017 report is 10% increase over 2016, and they also do an increase. 2016 report is 26% increase over 2014. So if you're a numbers person, you might want to take your time and familiarize yourself with how the Finder has put it in the paper this morning. It says the law requires that the list for the previous year be presented to Parliament by the end of the first quarter of the year. That's in pursuant to Section 11 of the Presidential Office Act of 1993. Presidents are required to submit to Parliament annual report on the staffing position of the office of the President. So over the period, and it dates back to 2008, how has it increased in percentage form? And that's how the Finder presents. It's interesting. You can have time and read it. So Mahama 39.5%, Kufuor 33%, Nanado 10%, Professor Mills 4%. So in terms of the increment in percentages, you'd say that the late Professor Mills had the least, if you like, followed by Nanado, which is 10%, but that's what's making waves really with the numbers. Don't know what you think. Still on page 4, that story is front page headline. Supreme Court fixes June 7 to rule on NCA's interpretation. The Supreme Court has slated June 7 to deliver its ruling in the case in which former board chairman of the National Communications Authority, Eugene Bafuboni, and 4 others are allegedly being held in a $4 million scandal. Bafuboni and his former accomplices are before the apex court of the land to seek interpretation of Article 19, Clause 2E and G of the 1992 Constitution. So we know what the court decides. The law is on June 7. Police seized 15,790.81 grams of marijuana, where at Joso in the at Asankari in the Asante Achem South Municipality, and they've arrested one man, Kwame J. Background to that is in the paper this morning. There's also another front page headline, Finder newspaper, which says families cries for justice for defiled girls. That story on page 5, it reads, families of 4 girls defiled at gunpoint at a community in the Sagnarigu municipality of the northern region have called on the police to work to ensure justice for their children. 3 of the girls are 14 years old, while the other is 13 years old. They all reside in a community in the Kumbungo district, and they were defiled on March 6, 2018, in a bush near the community where they live. The girls went to the bush to fetch firewood when the incident happened. The suspect allegedly threatened the girls with a gun, stripped them naked, and had sex with 3 of them, and when he could not erect again, he inserted his fingers into the private part of the 4th girl. A medical examination and the description, but we've got to read for you to understand what is happening. And while there should be a need for justice, I mean, nobody should tell the people investigating this that you have to get to the bottom of it as quickly as possible. So a medical examination at the Tamale Teaching Hospital confirmed sexual intercourse with the girls, following which the police arrested the suspect on March 7 and granted him bail after 2 days. So background to that in the paper. This is not somebody who should be granted bail, not at all. But you might want to see the circumstances under which the bail was granted. Trade in Human Vital Organs, Carlos, Interior Ministry, saying that. And also, if you look at the front page, it says Adopt a Bin campaign kicks off as renewed effort to keep Accra clean gain momentum. Okay, that's it for the finder. Roland?
Okay, so we have the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Presidency sponsored some candidates in regional elections. That's the MPP regional executive elections. The paper claims that those candidates, at least there was...
they lost.
Well, the president's sponsored candidates one won in Greater Accra.
This is emphatic.
And then one lost in Central. So we have Robert Kutin, who won. We're told that he was the one who was not sponsored by the presidency, so to speak. Divine Agohom won Greater Accra. We're told he stated publicly that that he was sponsored by the Flagstaff House, so to speak. We have on the front page, research reveals that the actual alcoholic content in 20 brands of bitters, and if you go to the back page, you have them. It says a student of the Common Core University of Science and Technology has found most of them on the market contain less alcohol than their labels, and that follows also a video that I watched in which we had a researcher looked at the alkaline levels in water, the bottled water that are sold on the Ghanaian market. And I can tell you, some of your favorite brands apparently were not good for you to drink. So we have some of them here. This one, Myjoyonline, has some of the tidbits. So we have a couple of them. They said they were 40%. They had 40% content, 42. Apparently, those with 42% had only 12%. And some of them having 18 had 21%. Akpeteshi had 41%. That's where they tested it averagely. Because Akpeteshi there, they say do high or 100. That's original Akpeteshi. Okay, so
shouldn't it be good? So they're kind of deceiving people to think that they are taking in a lot more alcohol.
Yeah, but
than
I
they
think
are.
then that's good.
Yeah, then that's good. I'm thinking so too.
Which alcoholic content here. Expose your organs to alcohol.
Even though, well, technically, it means
that you have to drink more.
If you're thinking as a regulator, then it means you're deceiving the consumers, which is a wrong thing.
Yeah.
But if you want to, put on, I don't know, like a motherly or whatever, then that's a good thing.
Yeah.
If Roland is consuming something that is 11% and he's thinking it's 40%, then that's good. Or?
Yeah. That should be good.
Let's see. Let's read some of your messages.
It's not good
alcohol is not. But I think that you need a little in your system. I've seen people who have been ill.
But we already have it.
We do. But somebody said to me that the doctor said he should take in a little
Yeah,
alcohol.
me too. I witnessed a mate's father was asked to go, and I think he was a Presbyterian. How do they call it?
You put a little alcohol in your system.
Presbyterian elder or something at the time. I don't know whether they have elders, but he was a catechist.
They asked him to drink a little
for a month of wine,
okay.
And he said he didn't take alcohol, so they asked him to go put the table, the wine on the dining table for a month. And be drinking in morning, evening.
Somebody needs that kind of prescription, right?
No, that's an abuse.
Okay, but the whole idea is that we know that alcohol is not good. Too much of it is not good. But we'll be jokers if we sat here to say don't drink alcohol, because we know some people do. Just do it moderately. That's all we're asking. It's your birthday tomorrow. Okay, Jemfi, aka Yao Neck. So Jemfi is in Kumasi, Kote near KNUST. Tomorrow is your birthday. You don't have to wish yourself a happy birthday. Let me do it for you. Happy birthday to you, Yao Neck. Enjoy your birthday tomorrow. This one says, good morning to us. I want to use your platform to address our situation. Tell the government we nurses don't need to be employed under the nation's builders core, because they first promise us permanent jobs, not on contract basis. We need our financial clearance. And I think that you keep sending us this message. I think in recent times, that's based on what the vice president said. This one says, somebody sending me a link. It's one that I have to check later. Here's a message that reads, and I'm picking this from WhatsApp. You can also send me a WhatsApp message. My mom used to cook beans, but before she cooks the beans, she picks the bad and useless beans and throw them at the backyard whilst she cooked the good beans. But when it rains, the bad beans become seed and grows up and looks beautiful. The same person who threw them away starts to harvest them. She realizes that the beans she threw away was value. Don't cry when people throw you at the backyard. Don't cry when people reject you. Don't cry while they are looking down on you. The rain is coming, and the same person who's rejecting you today will beg to harvest you tomorrow. I think I love this message. Thank you very much. Except you didn't include your name. Kindly do so when you send us messages. Here's one from Wolanyo in Akwetia. Wolanyo says, in Ghana, the crime fighters are now the criminals in uniform. What a country we live in. If you won't recruit police through the right procedures, but through bribery, this should be the result. Well, I thank you for your message, but I'm not sure you're insinuating that the procedure that they use in recruiting police officers is absolutely corrupt. I hope that that's not what you are saying. This one says, happy birthday to Evans Vinya of Sogasco 85. Eric Mensa Oklu of Akachi sending this message. So happy birthday to you, Evans Vinya of Sogasco 85-year group. Enjoy your birthdays. Coming from Eric. This one says, this is a bit long. Just going to skip and go to this. Be thankful for all the struggles you go through. They make you stronger, wiser, and humble. Stay calm and believe in God. Abdul Razak General in Lamashigo in Tamale. And on that note, we're going to quickly go online, Roland, myjoyonline.com.
Yeah, so let's go to myjoyonline.com. So you go there, you have arrears cleared, claims of non-payment. I just got a message from somewhere in Akachi. Somebody was telling me his facility has not been paid.
This is back and forth. This is back and forth. And before you know, the...
are they buying time?
Wait, the people who are supposed to be complaining, in no time, they will stop complaining because somebody will be threatening them somehow. So this is it. The chief executive of the National supposed to be Health Insurance Authority, he's insisted his outfit has cleared a chunk of the debts. Oh, where are we? Okay, so that's it. That's the back and forth. Who do you believe and who won't you believe? I guess that's where we are now with this issue. Let's see if we can run through the rest of the stories on myjoyonline.com. Government communication blamed for 998 staffers brouhaha. And that story is also on myjoyonline.com, coming with a picture of Moses Fo Amweni. You could click on it and find out exactly the context on myjoyonline.com. There's a video, Amampo Sex and Love Around the World, Moesha, Mama Zimbi, others featured. So I guess this is the full piece. Finland's basic income trial falls flat. There's shady recruitment scam resurfaces in Kumasi. There's a video of this. You can check out what's all about on myjoyonline.com. And then within the prison walls, the myth, the truth, and all. Minority jobs Ekufuado over claims of 1 billion cedis NHIS debts payment. There you go. It's almost becoming an MPP NDC thing again. And then the East Legon Spintex tunnel open to traffic. We're there this morning with our cameras. We also want to look at the old tunnel and what's happened to it. 998 staffers, minority attacks Hamid over claims NDC spends 3 billion Ghana cedis. So that's it. That issue also becoming NDC NPP. Soldiers dash out of barracks. Residents dash into homes after ball gunshots. Some critics of 988 staffers are hypocrites and propagandists. That's according to Professor Jampo. Full details of that. High Court orders the freezing of opening asset, but in one of the newspapers, Roland, I think you did that review, that has been overturned. Well, you can. Well,
according to the Daily Guide, anyway.
Okay, Roland, this is City Newsroom.
All right, so we have 998 presidential staff deeply worrying, according to the CDD. Okay. Free SHS collapses over 20 private schools, and that's according to the Ghana National Association of Private Schools.
They're out. Everybody's rushing to a free senior high school.
Yeah. So nobody is getting admitted at the private school.
They're not going there.
Because I'm told that now they've even increased the numbers of quotas, or the cutoff.
In terms of the grades.
The cutoff grading or the cutoff points by which you can make entry into the senior high schools. So you can have even 24 and beyond. It used to be 24 and below. 24 and beyond. 36, 37.
If you can take your child to a good school and not pay any school fees, why would you want to take the child to a private school?
Yeah, that's the whole point. So that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Okay, so we have other stories. The full CNN interview. Moesha talks vaginal tightening gel. Hey, that's your come on. Let's go to the.
No. You're not going anywhere. Listen. You're not going anywhere, I beg.
This is discriminatory.
The other things that she said, I think, listen, and let's not be hard on her again. The points where people felt there were controversies.
Vaginal.
That's what you're interested in. So do that
tightening gel.
Roland, do that in your private time.
I have never even heard of the vaginal tightening gel.
Shame on you.
Vaginal.
Shame on you.
Tightening gel.
Is that all the review you do here?
Government signs is the next one. Government signs MOU to deploy drone tech. Hey.
That's the blast thing, right?
Effective in healthcare.
That's the
Samaritan traffic wardens beg for jobs after East Legon Tunnel opens. Yeah, there's no job in the system, is there?
So what are they going to do? It's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a big problem. We have the Africa page of the main page. Okay. Africa page.
Israel scraps plan to deport migrants. The government writes to the Supreme Court that forced migrant removal is no longer on the agenda. We know they were going to send them to some countries where they did not necessarily come from or had even lived before. They just didn't want them in Israel. But this is a turnaround. If you've been following the story, then you've got to go to the page and read what it's about in detail, really, what it's all about. The baby warehouses, which cater for Israel's unwanted migrants, and then Israel's unwanted African migrants. Oh, Africans. Buhari calls attack on church satanic, and I hear that yesterday people dealt with him proper on another subject in Nigeria on Twitter. The Nigerian president condemns the attack, which killed at least 16, but that's not on this issue. I think this is about young people being lazy or something of the sort.
Yeah.
Kenyan dams.
He's always the subject of many comedy shows in Nigeria.
A flood risk after heavy rain. Some 200,000 people have already been displaced because of flooding, staying in schools. Or open areas. So some parts of Kenya flooded because of heavy rains. We're familiar with that kind of subject. We're getting ourselves ready, and we really don't know what to accept or expect this season. Bin Laden's Tunisian bodyguard on welfare. Okay. GM plant tech boosts malaria drug yield. So there are many other stories on the BBC Africa page that you can check out. Trump, Macron, more new Iran nuclear deal. The US and French president discuss how to overcome divisions over a key accord reached in 2015. So, the two of them, they have something in common. They both come from a certain background that nobody perhaps expected them to be where they are in terms of politics. But they both have different ideologies. They believe in totally different things, but they are very good friends. Something's working for them.
And yesterday I was listening to Donald Trump. He said he was happy with the reception that he received when he visited France. So that's a good one.
Okay, so this is the guy. The picture there down there is a guy in Canada, in Toronto specifically, who drove his van into a number of people. And the investigation's revealing some things. You can check it out. But this is it. Everybody's talking about Liverpool's win in the Champions League yesterday. We will have that conversation here on the show when Benedict joins us. And there is another big one happening today. So is it looking more like a Bayern Real Madrid final? Oh, no. Is it looking more like a Bayern-Liverpool final or a Real Madrid-Liverpool? I'm not sure, but I know that I love Salah. Will Roma be able to overturn that 5-2?
Somebody's saying it's a Bayern.
It's a Bayern
Roma final. That person will be a Barcelona fan. Yeah. Yeah. Barcelona fan.
I said I didn't want Liverpool in the finals, but it looks more like Liverpool.
Well, I think that if you look at the way is it Klopp plays, I think he knows how to organize his defense very well.
He is a champ.
I'm not sure that they are going to throw away the 3-goal lead, but you should know that they also have a goal, or they have scored an away goal, so kind of give them an edge. And so
okay, so listen, this is not just about
all they need to do is just win 3-0.
Yeah.
If they
Liverpool
win 3-0. If they win 3-0.
3-0 away.
No, I mean Roma. All they need to do is just
win 3-0 home.
Yes,
when and that's
home.
it.
But if they win 4-1, even though it will be equal, but it will mean that
master statistician or whatever, we've started the mathematical calculations already. We'll do a lot more of it. We'll activate the phone line so you can join us in that conversation. So you've got to stay with us. I'm just going to hold on to the rest of the...
But you also know that the GFA, there's been a coup d'etat there.
Yeah. Is it would you say is a coup d'etat? I mean, that's a powerful man who was not exactly gelling. Who was not exactly gelling with Kwesi Nyantakyi.
And yesterday I put on my Facebook wall, I said, well, how can you be with Paul Kagame as vice president and you decide to contest Paul Kagame? You know, I mean, that was just literally trying to put
but I'm curious to know, you know, under what circumstances, like, you know, what's that rule that allowed him to be yanked off, if you like. Is it something that's been, has it been rolling, has it been coming? Did you ever see it? Benedict is here, fortunately, and he will tell us all about it. So stay with us. We have some conversations coming up, and then we're monitoring the situation at that new tunnel. We're there yesterday, we're there this morning to see the situation. And then we are live from Cape Coast as well. You know, we've had conversations about teenage pregnancy on the rise. They've got some unbelievable numbers in Cape Coast. So this morning, our talk segment is going to come to us live from Cape Coast. Richard Kojanyako is on one side. He's on one side on the pregnancy conversation. And Maxwell Agbagba is engaging some young people on national conversations, all coming to you live from Cape Coast this morning. So you've got to stay. We're loaded. Keep sending in your messages. We'll have time and share what you send us.